At his first love's welcome back party, my boyfriend forced me, pregnant as I was, to chug an entire glass of white liquor just to make her happy. My abdomen erupted in excruciating pain, blood soaking through my white dress. Yet amid his friends hooting and cheering, he was too busy feeding bird's nest soup to his first love mouth to mouth. As I slipped into unconsciousness, I heard a cold, disdainful sneer. "Don't mind her. She's just a canary I keep, she can't survive without me." Waking up in the hospital, I touched my now flat stomach, ready to send him the abortion certificate. But his profile picture had been replaced with a side shot of his first love, and he'd blocked me for the 99th time unilaterally. This time though, I didn't act coquettishly or beg for forgiveness like I always had. Instead, I booked a flight abroad for 3 days later. When I got home, a loud crash greeted me. Aria stood amid shards of porcelain. Her eyes reddened instantly when she saw me, and she burst into tears, throwing herself into Zayn's arms. "I only broke it by accident." Sister Song's face looked so scary, like an old witch. He scared me so much. What she'd smashed was the first gift Zayn had given me, a ceramic doll he'd hand-fired himself, the young master of a prominent family getting his hands dirty just for me. Zayn stroked Aria's hair gently, his gaze tender, so tender I could almost see the shadow of how he used to dote on me. "Don't be afraid. It's just a doll. I'll smash it with you." He bent down, picked up the doll's head and slammed it hard onto the floor. The porcelain shattered into even tinier pieces beyond repair. Aria cheered up, clapping her hands and laughing. But my grip on my bag tightened, my hands trembling slightly. I remembered how Zayn had once grabbed my face playfully, his eyes brimming with arrogance. "This is the first time I've made something like this for a woman. If you dare break this doll, I really won't keep you around anymore." Yet now he'd smashed it with his own hands. Of course he had. After all, he'd even sacrificed our child just to make Aria smile. I laughed bitterly to myself, picking up a broom to sweep up the shards. Suddenly Aria coughed. Zayn tensed up, panicked. "Are you okay? Did you strain your throat from crying?" "One, it's all your fault." Aria's crying. "Hurry and make her a glass of her favorite mango juice." I froze, unable to believe my ears. "Don't you remember I'm allergic to mangoes?" Zayn's face stiffened. Guilty, he avoided my gaze, turning back to flirt with the beauty in his arms. I swept up the shards, tossing them into the trash, along with the last lingering trace of reluctance in my heart. Just then I heard Aria's coquettish voice again. "I'll head out first. I'll see you at the hotel tomorrow, same one as last night." Zayn glanced at me instinctively, explaining awkwardly, "Aria and I have been friends for years. We're just catching up. Don't overthink it." I didn't bother exposing his lie, pretending not to see the ambiguous bite marks on his neck. Aria waved at Zayn shyly. And there, on her wrist, I saw it, the peace talisman. The one I'd prayed for 3 years ago, kowtowing every 5 steps from the bottom of the temple to the top, my forehead bruised and swollen, while Zayn lay in a coma from a car accident that had saved my life. When Zayn woke up, his eyes had turned red with Singtung. He'd held me tightly. "I'll wear this talisman forever. We'll never be apart, not in this life or any other." But now he'd given it to someone else with his own hands. I turned away from their sweet goodbye, heading to the master bedroom to pack my bags for the trip. But when I pushed the door open, the couple photo of Zayn and me that had hung in the center of the wall was gone. In its place was a calligraphy work by Aria, in the exact same font Zayn used on his phone. So during all the years Aria had been abroad, Zayn had never once forgotten her. But that no longer had anything to do with me. I pulled out my phone, setting a countdown for my flight in 3 days. Suddenly, a trending topic popped up. Beijing's elite heir makes grand appearance on dating show, engagement to Miss Qin imminent. The video showed Zayn and Aria kissing passionately, oozing sweetness. No wonder he hadn't asked about me once during my entire hospital stay for the abortion. He'd been too busy showing off his love for Aria. I remembered last year when paparazzi had photographed us traveling together. To avoid scandal, he'd blocked me and given me the silent treatment for a month. I never would have thought this same man, so low-key and cautious, would go on a dating show just for his first love. Just then Zayn pushed the door open, interrupting my thoughts. He started in on me immediately, blaming, Wanwan, you're so spoiled. A mango allergy won't kill you. Aria just got back, why are you making her unhappy?" Even as Zayn spoke to me, his eyes never left his phone. His fingers tapped away rapidly, a smile flickering across his face from time to time. Memories flashed through my mind. On our first anniversary, Zayn had bought a mango cake. Unwilling to waste his gesture, I'd taken a small bite, only to fall into anaphylactic shock and pass out. When I woke up, he'd been crying like a child, his hands trembling as he held mine. "Wanwan, I'll never let you touch mango again. I'll never let you suffer like this ever again." Pulling myself back to the present, I opened my bag, searching for the medical report. I had a miscarriage. Only then did he deign to look at me, his tone annoyed. "It was just one glass of liquor. There's a limit to jealousy. Don't joke about the baby." So that night, when I'd been in so much pain I'd wanted to die, helpless and desperate, he'd thought I was just throwing a jealous fit. I lowered my eyes, holding out the abortion certificate I'd just found. "The baby's really gone. And so is our relationship." I didn't even dare say the word breakup. 5 years ago, my parents' company had gone bankrupt. To pay off their debts, I'd accepted Zayn's bank card, becoming his canary ever since. We'd lived together for 5 years, even had a child, but I'd never had a real title. Zayn stared at the certificate, his eyes filled with disbelief. After a moment, his gaze drifted to my flat stomach. He reached out, pulling me into his arms, his voice laced with guilt. "Don't be sad. Rest well and I'll let you get pregnant again." His eyes were full of remorse as he patted my back gently. For a moment, it felt like we were back to the intimacy we'd once shared. If only I could ignore the gardenia scent clinging to him, a scent that belonged solely to Aria. A wave of nausea hit me. I pushed him away, fighting the sickness. "Mr. Zhou, I'm serious." When Zayn heard me using such a formal address, his face darkened instantly, throwing another tantrum. "Do you still think you're the young lady you used to be? Who else would support you if you leave me?" He was right. I was no longer the spoiled young lady who'd been doted on hand and foot. But I clearly remembered, in the heat of our intimacy, he'd kissed my neck softly, his eyes brimming with deep affection as he'd promised over and over. "Wanwan, even if your family fell on hard times, you'll always be the most noble little princess in my heart." I clenched my fingers tightly, my lips trembling, but not a single word came out. Zayn finally realized he'd gone too far, a flash of panic crossing his face. "Don't misunderstand. Aria and I are just putting on a show. I won't abandon you." He quickly pulled out his phone. "I was wrong about the party. I'll unblock you right now and I'll never block you again." He then pulled an exquisite gift box from his suit pocket. Inside was a sparkling diamond ring. I froze. Countless times, whenever we passed a jewelry store, I couldn't help but glance at the rings. And he'd always pull me away without mercy, his voice mocking. "Wanwan, I treat you well enough. You should be content." In other words, I was just his plaything. He could spoil me, but he'd never give me a future. Yet now, staring at the ring, my body went rigid as he grabbed my hand forcefully, sliding the ring onto my middle finger. Zayn suddenly smiled, looking like a victorious conqueror. "See, Wanwan? I told you you can't live without me." Before I could speak, my phone rang. It was Aria calling. "Sister Song, Ash's taste is really terrible. He had a 50 million yuan diamond ring custom made for me, but that big pigeon egg is so tacky. Your 5,000 yuan free gift is much prettier." So. It was a free gift. Aria Chin's intentions could not have been clearer. I didn't respond, hanging up the call immediately. Putting down my phone, I started gathering my documents. Zayn Zhou had appeared behind me without a sound. "What are you doing with your passport?" My hand trembled instinctively, but I quickly composed myself, lying calmly. "I'm going with you on your business trip next month. Just checking what I need to pack in advance." Zayn had always made me accompany him on his trips abroad. But this time he hesitated, opening his mouth as if to say something before closing it again. "Next month. Aria will be coming with me." Seeing my cold expression, he rushed to add, "But I'll arrange for you to relax in Europe next month. We both need some time to cool down." No wonder he was sending me away so suddenly. He was afraid I'd ruin his alone time with Aria Chin. Once upon a time I would have thrown a tantrum, forcing him to admit I was his favorite. But now I just nodded, tucking the documents into my bag smoothly. Zayn finally sensed something was wrong. "You used to carry our photo in your bag everywhere. Why isn't it there now?" Naturally, I no longer needed to keep a photo of us with me at all times. But I didn't answer, subtly changing the subject. I need to rest. Do you have anything else? Only then did he remember why he'd come to find me. Where's the honey water on the table? Zayn had a stomach condition. The doctor had advised him to consume more honey, so I'd been making him warm honey water every hour, letting it cool before pouring it into a glass, ensuring he could drink it at the perfect temperature whenever he wanted. It was tedious, but I'd kept it up for 5 years. I brushed him off casually. I just got out of the hospital. I'm not feeling well. It was the truth. Having only rested 1 day after the abortion, coupled with the low mood since returning home, my lower abdomen was throbbing with pain. My face was too pale for Zayn to ignore. He panicked, lifting me up and placing me on the bed. You should have protected our baby better. How dare you throw a fit? Fine, I'll take care of you tonight. Just then a phone rang. I glanced at Zayn's screen instinctively. He'd saved the caller as Baby Aria. He answered and Aria's sobs came through the line. Ashi, I hurt my hand. Can you come see me, woo? I'm so stupid, I don't even know how to register at the hospital. Zayn didn't speak immediately, looking at me with a troubled expression. I clutched my abdomen tightly, cold sweat dripping from my forehead. I forced the words out through gritted teeth. Hurry and go. He looked torn but ultimately made his choice. I'm sorry, Wanwan. Aria just got back, I can't leave her alone. I'll call you a doctor first. I'll be right back. Seconds later I heard the door slam shut. I curled up into a ball, my heart numb. It wasn't the first time he'd abandoned me for Aria. I should have been used to it by now. Soon the family doctor arrived. Contempt filled his eyes, but pressured by Zayn's orders, he reluctantly examined me. You've been with young Master Zhou for 5 years and he still won't acknowledge you in social circles. Don't tell me you're foolish enough to believe a man's sweet nothings in bed. The Song family is drowning in debt. You're not even worthy of carrying young Master Zhou's shoes. Miss Qin and young Master Zhou are a perfect match. If you had an ounce of self-respect, you'd pack your things and leave. For the doctor couldn't bear to stay a minute longer, dropping off the medicine and leaving immediately. The gap between Zayn and me was vast. Everyone around him looked down on me. But I was his most spoiled canary after all. How would a mere doctor dare to be so arrogant? I took the medicine quietly and the pain gradually eased. Then I picked up my phone intending to thank the doctor, only to see Aria had updated her social media. Even a strawberry-patterned band-aid isn't as sweet as your affection. The photo showed Aria with a cute band-aid on her fingertip. Zayn was holding her finger to his lips, his eyes filled with such tender concern it seemed to spill off the screen. Suddenly I remembered Zayn's birthday during our first year together. I'd never lifted a finger in the kitchen before, but to please him, I'd cooked an entire feast by myself, burning my hands red and swollen with hot oil. Yet Zayn had only picked at his food casually, not even staying the night. I'd never understood why. Until I accidentally overheard his call with a friend. I spoil Songwon because she's beautiful and obedient, like a cute little cat, fun to play with. But today with those blisters all over her hands, she's disgusting to look at. Just then Zayn called me. His tone was commanding. Aria's never traveled abroad with me before. She doesn't know anything. Help her prepare the documents. Immediately after, Aria's coquettish voice came through the phone. I may not know anything, but I have Ash to spoil me, Sister Song. I'm an impatient person. Could you finish it tonight, please? Zayn tried to stop her. Wanwan's still not feeling well tonight. Don't rush her. Sure. I agreed without hesitation. 5 years ago, desperate to make ends meet, I'd taken a job as a waitress at a high-end club. If Zayn hadn't spent a fortune to get me out of there, I probably wouldn't have escaped unscathed from all those sleazy tycoons. Once I finished organizing these documents, I'd be even with him. I got out of bed slowly, enduring the discomfort, and turned on my laptop to start working. I didn't sleep a wink all night, finally completing Zayn's request by morning. The next day I took the documents to Zhou Group. The receptionist had always greeted me warmly, knowing my relationship with Zayn. But this time she looked flustered, stepping in front of me to block my way. Miss Song, Mr. Zhou isn't available right now. Let me show you to the lounge first. Along the way I heard whispers from the employees. Mr. Zhou felt sorry for Miss Qin having to wear high heels, so he carried her from the car straight into the office. So romantic. The receptionist looked embarrassed, wanting to explain. But seeing my expression remain unchanged, she finally said nothing. After a while, Zayn called, telling me to bring the documents to his office. Pushing the door open, I saw Aria sitting on Zayn's lap, their eyes locked in an intimate gaze. Aria took the documents with a smile, picking up a bowl of porridge from the table. "You must be tired, sister. Try this," as she cooked it for me himself. I looked at Zayn in surprise. After 5 years of living together thanks to Aria, I just learned he could cook. I reached out to take the porridge. But Aria suddenly let go of the bowl and it crashed to the floor. Scalding hot porridge splashed onto my calves, and I couldn't help but suck in a sharp breath of pain. "Ashi's sister must hate me. She did that on purpose to burn me. Please don't be mad at her," she cried, her face streaked with tears, looking as delicate as a pear blossom in the rain. Zayn quickly pulled her into his arms, checking her carefully. Confirming she'd only gotten her shoes dirty, his eyes still turned cold as ice. Wanwan apologized to Aria immediately. "And clean her shoes." 5. I ignored him, grabbing a few sheets of paper from the desk to wipe the scalds on my calves. Zayn lost his patience, yanking me by the arm. "Is this how you treat your benefactor? I support you, you have to obey me." He was too strong, and with my injuries I couldn't resist at all. I stumbled as he dragged me out of the office. He only stopped at the staircase before suddenly letting go. I couldn't react in time, falling backward due to inertia and tumbling down the stairs. A sharp pain shot through my ankle, which swelled up instantly. Zayn looked down at me from above. "Songwon, this is the price for defying me." With that, he turned and left without a second glance. I sat on the floor, too weak to stand, enduring the strange looks from those around me in humiliation. I don't know how long it took before the receptionist wheeled over a wheelchair. Miss Chin was in a bad mood earlier. Mr. Zhou took her to the suburbs to relax. "Please get up." I was helped into the wheelchair. Just then the countdown alarm for my flight abroad went off. I turned it off only to see a text message from Zayn. "I've spoiled you too much over the years, making you so unruly. I've blocked you. When you finally realize your mistake, I'll unblock you." It didn't matter, there would be no later. I pulled out my SIM card and replaced it with a new one. Then I wheeled myself out, taking a taxi to the airport to board my flight. 6 before I could stop her, Xin-Ing answered it quickly. 10 hours later, the plane landed. Waiting to pick me up was my best friend, Xin-Ing. The moment she saw me, she burst into tears. "Look how thin you've gotten, my Wanwan. I told you a playboy like Zayn Zhou would cheat sooner or later." I patted her back gently, not wanting to talk about it. "Let's drop it. I came abroad to be happy." Xin-Ing nodded vigorously. "You're right. Once your leg heals, I'll take you to bars and make you forget that scumbag." We chatted and laughed as we headed home. Breaking free from a draining relationship, even the air felt fresher. Back at Xin-Ying's manor, she couldn't wait to let me taste the freshly baked Western pastries. Suddenly, a sharp ringtone shattered the warm atmosphere. Xin-Ying pulled out her phone, looking confused. "No caller ID. And it's a domestic number." My heart skipped a beat and I looked up instinctively. When I saw the number on the screen, it really was Zayn Zhou. My heart tightened and I gripped the wheelchair handles tightly. He was truly capable, finding my current address so soon. And how could he not know about Aria's provocations? A cold, deep voice interrupted my thoughts. "Put Songwon on the phone." "You scumbag, how dare you call?" Xin-Ing had a fiery personality and truly cared about me. Not caring that Zayn was a prominent figure in Beijing's elite circle, she shouted insults at him directly. "Xin-Ing, if you still care about the Xin family, don't make me repeat myself." Zayn's tone didn't waver. But after 5 years with him, I knew he was furious. Xin-Ing was innocent. I couldn't drag her or the entire Xin family into this. So I took the phone, my voice polite and distant. "Mr. Zhou. Wanwan really has grown wings. Even a golden cage can't hold you anymore." Zayn's tone was mocking. "Don't throw a tantrum. Who else can support you without me? Come back immediately before I lose my temper." Actually, I could support myself. I'd been foolish when I was young, always wanting to stand by his side as his wife. I'd never touched the bank card he gave me every month, as if that would make us equals in a loving relationship. He'd probably forgotten that I'd once been a young lady carefully raised by my family, a graduate of a top university. After my family's downfall, I'd become his canary, cooking and making tea for him. Mr. Zhou, I'm almost 30. I interrupted him, my voice soft. After the company went bankrupt, my parents' health declined. Their only wish was for me to find a good husband. I'm not throwing a tantrum. I just want to get married. Zayn fell silent. The call went quiet. Every time he'd come home these days, there'd been a faint red mark on his index finger. The day I'd gone to the company to see him unexpectedly, he'd forgotten to take off his wedding ring. The design was the same as Aria's 50 million yuan diamond ring. He'd gotten engaged to Aria behind my back. In any case, you can't get rid of me. Zayn spoke again, his voice trembling. The Song family owes me so much. You can't just leave and let me suffer the loss. I'd known he'd threatened me with his help over the years. I've been running a side business at home these years and saved some money. The money you used to pay off the Song family's debts and the bank card you gave me every month, they're all in a safe. Zayn Zhou, I don't owe you anything anymore. 6 With that, I hung up the phone directly. Then I blocked him using Xin Ying's phone. Just then my phone pinged with a message. It was the receptionist from Zhou Group. Sister Song, Mr. Zhou was terrifying today. When he found out you went abroad, he wanted to fly to you on his private jet immediately. But Miss Qin suddenly had chest pain. He was too busy taking care of her to go. A wave of relief washed over me and I typed, "In the future, don't tell me anything about Mr. Zhou." Next, I opened my laptop and started sending out resumes. I'd studied design in university, a popular major now. I accepted. After finishing up, I was about to go to bed when Aria called. I really underestimated you. Your little game of playing hard to get worked. Zayn is threatening to call off our engagement because of you. Zayn is a prominent heir. Even if he doesn't marry me, he'll marry someone else. You'll never be his wife. She was furious, her voice shrill, completely dropping her fake innocent act. I didn't want to waste words on her, so I turned off my phone. In the middle of the night, I was woken up by a knock on the door. Dazed, I put on my coat and opened it. The moment I saw who it was, I snapped awake. It was Zayn Zhou. It was late spring in China, but Norway was below zero. Yet he was only wearing a white shirt, apparently in such a hurry to fly here that he'd forgotten to change. His nose was bright red from the cold and fine droplets of frost had formed on his eyelashes. My expression changed and I tried to close the door quickly. But he suddenly pressed his hand against the doorframe, risking having it crushed. Truly, the heart of a woman is the coldest. Won't you invite me in to warm up, Wan? I had to open the door slowly but still blocked the entrance. Xining had never liked Zayn. After learning about all the hurt I'd endured in China, she hated him even more. If she found out Zayn had been in my room, she'd probably make the maid scrub the floor 3 times with disinfectant in disgust. My voice was cold. Speak here. What do you want, Mr. Zhou? Zayn stared at me for a moment. Realizing I was unyielding, his face darkened. Songwon, know when to stop. I turned down tens of millions of orders to come to Norway for you. That's more than enough face. Playing hard to get is getting old. You hate Aria. I've even threatened to call off the engagement to scare her. She won't bother you again. Come back with me. No, that wasn't it. The one I'd always hated wasn't Aria. It was Zayn, who'd been affectionate with his well-matched fiancée while clinging stubbornly to his canary. But he clearly didn't realize that. I didn't want to waste any more time, so I told him to leave. I've decided to end this. Stop pestering me. You're a big shot in Beijing and no one dares to mess with you. But Norway is the Shin family's territory. Don't force me to call security to throw you out. With that, I closed the door without hesitation. I went back to bed and slept soundly, waking up only at noon the next day. But when I went out to eat, I heard the maids gossiping. There's a fool standing at the manor gate wearing only a thin shirt since midnight. He stood there until this morning, freezing until he passed out around 10 o'clock. His bodyguards finally took him away. 7 I listened calmly, finishing my lunch without a ripple in my mood. Then I drove to the game studio for the interview. The guy who greeted me was dressed casually, exuding a youthful vibe. His eyes lit up. I know you. You're a top graduate from our university. Our advisor still talks about you often. He seemed to be my junior. I smiled softly. Then I'll be counting on your care from now on. The studio was small, but my colleagues were all friendly. I settled in quickly. In the evening, my junior He Chio pestered me to have dinner together. Unable to refuse his insistence, I reluctantly agreed. But as soon as we entered the restaurant, a sharp pain shot through my wrist. I was suddenly yanked backward, stumbling and nearly falling, only to land in a familiar embrace. I pushed him away instinctively. Zayn Zhou, why haven't you left yet? Leave? So you can fool around with this random guy. Zayn was on the verge of rage, his eyes bloodshot as he glared fiercely at Hichio. In the next second he threw a punch straight at him. Zayn's movement was too fast, Hichio couldn't dodge in time. Blood gushed from his nose immediately. I hurried to support Hichio. After confirming he was okay, I couldn't help but roar at Zayn. Watch your mouth. Xiao, he is just my colleague, we met for the first time today. Check if you don't believe me. I hope that's true. Zayn sneered, a flash of cruelty and disdain crossing his eyes. After all, he looks young. He probably wouldn't want an old woman like you who's almost 30. Only I'd put up with you. Just then, Aria Chin walked into the restaurant holding a glass of mango juice. A fake smile plastered on her face. Sister Song, I squeezed this juice for you myself. Try it, let's forget about the past and not be angry anymore. I didn't move, my expression darkening. But Zayn didn't notice. He reached out to pat my shoulder, his tone almost pleading. Wan, drink this juice and come back to China with me. You and Aria can get along well. I'd had enough. I slapped his hand away hard, splashing the mango juice all over his expensive custom-tailored suit. Aria screamed in fright, rushing forward to stop me. I didn't hold back, slapping her hard across the face. Zayn Zhou, do you really think I can't live without you? You deliberately used mango juice to disgust me. My eyes were filled with hatred as I looked at Zayn. Zayn stared down at the liquid on his suit, his face darkening instantly. He turned to Aria. I told you to squeeze orange juice, didn't I? Tears streamed down Aria's swollen red face. I'm sorry, Ashi. I just thought mangoes are more expensive. I wanted Sister Song to drink something nice. I didn't want to waste any more time with this scumbag couple. Supporting the injured Hichio, I prepared to leave, only to have Zayn grab my wrist again. You've hit me and vented your anger. Isn't that enough? Suddenly, Hichio stepped in front of me, his eyes filled with hatred. Are you blind? Can't you see senior sister wants to leave? A good dog doesn't block the way, get lost. Zayn ignored him, locking eyes with me as he shielded me behind him. When he talked to me like that. How should I punish him? I glanced down at my phone screen, which was flashing. It must be Shining, worried because I hadn't come home so late. I hung up the call first, then slowly walked up to Zayn. His eyes lit up. I knew you still love me. Before he could finish, I slapped him hard. For the sake of what you did for the Song family, I didn't want to resort to violence. But if you're so eager to attend the board meeting with a slap mark on your face, I'll grant your wish. Zayn froze, staring at me in disbelief. I spoiled you for 5 years, and you hit me for this guy you just met today? That was a question I'd once wanted to ask him. I'd coquettishly clung to him for 5 years, providing him with emotional support and taking meticulous care of his daily life. So why did he treat me so badly the moment Aria came back? Was it because he thought I loved him too much to leave? Facing Zayn's shocked gaze, I smiled, my voice cold and cruel. Because Xiao, he is my colleague. And you? You're nothing to me. Hichio and I walked out of the restaurant side by side. Zayn tried to chase after us, but Aria clung tightly to his waist. I just saw paparazzi taking photos. I know you're only marrying me because your father forced you. You don't want to embarrass him, do you? He could only shout frantically, Wan, Song Wan. His voice even cracked with tears in the end. But I didn't slow down for a second. Hichio sent me home. As soon as I walked in, I saw Shining lying on the sofa scrolling through her phone, looking excited. When she saw me, she quickly waved me over. Paparazzi posted a video of Zayn fighting with his fiancée. They finally collapsed, ha. Earlier, the internet was flooded with their CP fans spouting nonsense. It made me sick just looking at it. I took Xinying's phone, clicking on the video that had shot to the top of the trending list. The video only showed clips after I left. Zayn must have deliberately protected my privacy. In the video, he pushed Aria away and slapped her hard. Roaring angrily, I warned you before you came back I'd give you face, but you shouldn't have gone too far with Wan. Our engagement is off. Tomorrow, I'll go to the Qin family personally to call it off. He'd hit a woman, abandoning all the dignity and upbringing he'd been raised with. I'd never seen him lose control like this. Maybe he really was furious. Aria shook her head in despair, crawling forward on her knees and clutching Zayn's pants legs as she cried. You told me you were tired of Songwon. You said if I bullied her she'd leave you temporarily. I never thought she'd give up on you completely. It's not my fault, Ashi. But Zayn looked at her with utter disgust, kicking her away and walking off without looking back. After watching the video, Shin-ing threw her water glass to the floor in anger. So it was Zayn who told Aria to bully you. I thought he was just a playboy, turns out he's a complete scumbag. I smiled nonchalantly, asking the maid to clean up the shards. Whether he was a playboy or a scumbag, it no longer had anything to do with me. After tucking Shin-ing into bed, I went back to my room. I transferred 10,000 yuan to Hichio with a note. Sorry about tonight. This is for your medical expenses. I felt guilty for dragging this innocent junior into my mess with Zayn. Hichio replied instantly, Brother Zhou hit really hard, my face still hurts. Sister, can you help me apply medicine at work tomorrow? He attached a crying kitten emoji. Then he sent a photo. I thought it would be of his injury, but when I opened it, his accidentally exposed abs dominated the screen. I couldn't help but laugh. Was this how Zayn had felt when he looked at Aria? It was actually kind of fun. As he'd hoped, I replied, sure. The young guy was overjoyed, sending a series of emojis. This was an experience I'd never had with Zayn. I used to send him long messages, waiting hours just to get a one-word reply, or sometimes he'd read it and not reply at all, even blocking me. Just as I was thinking, my phone rang. It was Zayn's family doctor. I'd already left Zayn, why was he still hounding me? I hung up immediately. But he sent a text message right away. Miss Song, it's an emergency. Then he called again. Frowning, I answered. Miss Song, young Master Zhou drank so much he got a stomach hemorrhage. He keeps calling your name, please come see him. His voice was filled with urgency. At that moment I heard Zayn's roar in the background, slurred, clearly drunk. Don't beg Songwon. That ungrateful woman wouldn't care if I drank myself to death. Listening to Zayn's words, I smiled softly. Doctors, even your young master has finally come to his senses. Why are you still so blind? The line fell silent for a second. Then the doctor apologized to me. I'm sorry, Miss Song. I've treated you badly over the past 5 years, but I'm begging you, please come. Before he could finish, I hung up the phone. Actually, I didn't blame the doctor. If anyone was to blame, it was the huge gap between Zayn and me. Anyone with eyes could see we'd never work out, but I'd been blinded by a man's sweet words. 9 the next day, as I left the manor for work, Aria Chin suddenly rushed out from the side of the road. Her face was swollen and red, her hair disheveled, and her limited edition dress was covered in dust. She looked no different from a beggar on the street. She glared at me fiercely. The Zhou family called off our engagement. My father thinks I'm worthless and wants to disown me. I have nothing left now. Are you happy? I just felt confused. From start to finish, I'd known the biggest culprit in this messy love triangle was Zayn Zhou. I spoke sarcastically. I didn't force Zayn to end your engagement. Coming to me won't help, go find him. Aria froze for a moment. Her eyes suddenly turned ruthless. She pushed me aside and stumbled away. I had a bad feeling, but I didn't bother to care. Just then a stranger sent me a friend request. I knew it was Zayn Zhou, but I accepted anyway. On second thought, we'd never properly said goodbye. This relationship, which I'd poured my whole heart into, deserved a proper ending. The typing indicator blinked for a long time before he sent just one sentence. Were you only with me for money from the start? He still couldn't believe I'd left so resolutely. At first it was true, I'd agreed to be his canary to pay off the Song family's debts. But he was such a skilled player, so good at pretending to be gentle and affectionate. As a naive young woman back then, how could I not have fallen for it? If there had been no love, why would my heart have ached when he mocked me as a plaything, when he blocked me over and over again? I lowered my eyes and replied seriously, I loved you once. It was he who drained all my love away. Another long stretch of typing followed. Finally, only one word appeared in the chat box. Okay. I smiled in relief, then blocked him. Driving to the studio, I helped Hichio apply medicine to his facial wounds. Throughout the process, he used countless clumsy excuses to increase physical contact with me. His intentions were so obvious, warm and childish, making me laugh. I didn't beat around the bush, asking directly, "I'm almost 30 and you just graduated. Do you think our ages are compatible?" Even Zayn had thought I was too old. How could someone as young as Hichio feel differently? But he hugged me firmly. "People who don't love you will find all kinds of excuses to criticize you. I don't want to think about anything else. I just want to be with you, that's all." I naturally accepted his pursuit. I moved out of Shin Ying's manor and moved in with Hichio. Shin Ying was very satisfied with my new boyfriend, giving me a thumbs up. "Good job, Wonwon. Got rid of a scumbag and found such a cute young guy. You're an inspiration." We laughed and messed around. To thank her for taking care of me, I treated her to dinner at Norway's most luxurious restaurant. Recently, the studio's game had been released to impressive data, and I'd also become a rising star in the fashion industry. After dinner we went home. I started scrolling through videos and saw the top trending topic: Miss Qin kills Beijing's elite heir in vengeful car crash. Just then Hichio walked out of the bathroom. Water droplets glistened on his perfect 8-pack abs, exuding intense sex appeal. He leaned close to me, his tone playful yet pouty. "You have such a handsome husband, but you're staring at your phone in a daze?" I snapped back to reality, put down my phone and smiled calmly. "How could that be? Hichio, I like you." The past would eventually fade like the wind.